time to stop running.
Jeez, what a befitting song. Winter is coming. But, or is it the winner is coming? Who's a winner? I'm not a winner. This is Bexy, and I got Bobby in the house. Oh, my God.
Sup?
I'm so happy. I can't stand it.
This is a family reunion.
This is fabulous. And you're listening to the Not So Kosher Show. The little teeny little podular we have here at the Southside Studios at aliveandsocial.com. Remember, always .com to check it out. So we're so glad that you're listening to us as we do our little kibitzing this week. We want to make sure you check us out at notsokosher.net, notkosher.net, whatever you feel like. And make sure you tweet us at notsokosher. And check us out on Spreaker and iTunes. And again, Alive and Social Network. Make sure you follow, share, like everything on our Facebook pages. They're fabulous. So we have a little weekly debriefing to do this week, Mr. Bobby.
Hi.
Hi. You got to tell me some shit that's been going on. I don't know any shit that's been going on. You've been on like hiatus.
I feel like it's the Wizard of Oz. I had this dream, and you were there, and you were there, right?
Did I have my red ruby slippers on?
You were the good witch.
The good witch.
Yes,
Gilda. Is that Gilda?
Gilda.
No, is that not it?
Wait, hold on. Glenda.
Glenda.
Gilda.
Gilda.
Gilda's your
Gilda
aunt.
Ratner.
Gilda's your aunt who makes like brownies
Yeah.
or something. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Hi. How's everybody?
With cat litter.
With cat litter. But don't tell anybody.
I know.
Don't tell anybody.
What's been going on, man?
Yes.
You missed. I missed you at Halloween. We kind of.
A lot of things.
Did you wear a costume?
I gotta tell you a great
Or did
story.
you wear that like costume? I heard about that costume you wore.
Every year I do something. I try to do something really
Franken,
clever. Yes,
right?
the Frankenstein.
Yeah, Frankenstein.
One time I went to Target and I got a toilet seat cover for like $5.99. I put it around my head and I was a potty mouth. And I would just swear at people and they go, "What the fuck?"
That's cute.
Potty mouth. And they go, "That's funny."
Yeah. That's so easy.
I got a story to tell you.
Okay, tell me. Want to know.
20 years ago, I went to Miami because I thought I was going to have a life-changing thing. I wanted to figure out if I was going to be a writer, a comedian. Sock model shit was not happening.
Porn star
definitely was not happening. They took a look and they said, "This is going to be a short version." Thank you. I'll be here all night. So I'm like, what am I going to do? I'm trying to figure out the whole American dream. So someone said, just be a cab driver in Miami, South Beach. You'd make fat money, right? I'm like, I'm not a cab driver kind of guy. I'm kind of scared of everything. My shadow, people. But they're like, you should be like the Jewish cab driver in Miami. So I'm like, all right, I did. I got my license.
Are you serious?
Yes, it's a great. This is really funny.
Wow.
So this is. I'll never forget this. Halloween night. It's a terrible night. People are just drunk ass, right? I get a call to go pick up a fare. I show up and I get this nun. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I have to be super cool. So we're driving.
Hey, bitch, what's
right?
going down?
Got to be super nonsense. I mean, I have to be like super cool. But I keep looking in the mirror, in my mirror.
Yeah.
I'm looking back and like the nun's got like the hottest eyes ever. And I know she's looking at me. Every time I look at her, she does this like look that game on. Something's happening.
Like,
So
how old was she in comparison to your age? Because you were about 7 then.
No, I was 23. I don't know,
Okay.
23.
Okay.
I would say she was like 34, 35, something like that.
Cougar.
But she did things with her mouth.
Nunger.
Nunger. Felix Nunger. And all of a sudden, I'm engaged in this conversation with her, and it's going somewhere. I'm not kidding you. And she finally says, "Why don't you pull the cab over and let me show you something?
No.
How about a trick or treat?" And I'm going, "Check." So
No, seriously.
yeah, so I pull the cab over, and she's like, "Come in the back," and I do. And she gives me the most unbelievable oral pleasure I've ever had, right?
What?
And she said, "God, you're good. What's your name?" I said, "My name is Harvey." And she's like, "Good to meet you, Harvey." So I go back to the front.
Whoa.
I go to the front seat, and I say,
Wrong sound effects, sorry.
It's all good, man.
We liked it.
I tell her, I feel bad. This is kind of like sacrilegious. What just happened here? You were bobbing for apples or something was going on in the back seat. And I'm a nice Jewish kid from St. Louis Park. And she said, I have a confession, too.
Oh, my God.
My name is Bob. I'm going to a costume party.
Oh! No. That's not so kosher, Bobby.
Not so kosher.
Yeah, not so kosher.
It's good to be back.
Bobby. Okay, I was believing you that whole time.
Yeah, dude, I literally had
That's
had me
crazy.
the whole time. Oh, did this really happen?
I'll never tell.
Wow.
He's looking away. He's blushing.
That's crazy, man.
I'm telling you. Wow.
That's cool.
That happened.
I like that story.
Thank you.
That's a good one.
Thank you.
So, did you have a good Thanksgiving?
The great Thanksgiving. The
Wait.
one thing that I'm guilty of is like I smell. Like I go into a
Like-
food coma and all the
Oh.
combination, all the cohesive flavors going on.
Like all your sweat glands stink.
Everything, and then we go into a little room and we golf, and it smells like a turkey farm. It's like literally Louis B. Rich farm, slaughterhouse farm for my ass. So I have a
nice.
reputation where people are like, don't let Bobby in the
Don't
room.
get near.
Yeah, but I love. It's my favorite holiday. Isn't that one of your favorite
It
holidays?
actually is one of my favorite, as long as there's all the fixing.
The
Then I'm
fixing.
happy. I like a really good turkey.
Does your family do the gravy that's thick or thin?
Oh, we don't do gravy.
You don't do gravy?
No. You want to hear a funny story?
I do.
So I have a sister-in-law. She's not Jewish.
Not so
Okay,
Jewish.
so she's not so Jewish. I know. So she every year does the turkey for us. Stuffs it, goes to the store, because of course we get some big honking turkey and then we cook it at Cecil's because we get to use the big ovens. And she goes there and she fills that little turkey's ass with just a ton of stuffing shit, right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so a lot of our family members keep kosher. And keep kosher, no, are vegetarians,
Okay.
right? So, and then and we do have some folks that do keep a little bit of kosher, but not really,
Mm-hmm.
to the point of like they would eat the turkey, but they don't eat ham, right? They don't
Right.
eat pork, all right? So, for years she's been doing this, and it turns out that she uses like fucking pork shit in there.
Ooh.
And some of the family members completely freaked out the year they found out about this.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, why the hell? Why didn't somebody tell her? Like, she makes it at her house
Yeah.
and then brings it over there and sticks it in there, and we don't even know about it. Like, that's not kosher because you're not supposed to be doing that shit.
That's
she-
like ambush.
Yeah.
Intentionally?
Well, yeah, I don't think so.
You think she was just uneducated?
No,
in the
I think
situation?
truly that she just grew up that it was like that, and she probably wrapped the whole thing in ham on top of it. I just, have you seen that? What are those called?
Turduckens. Turduckens.
They take a turkey, a ham, and a duck.
Yes.
They stick the duck inside the turkey, wrap the duck in ham, and then stick the little motherfucker up that ass.
It's actually really tasty.
Oh, I bet it
It
is.
is. It's really
I
good.
bet.
It sounds like a poop.
Well,
I saw one that they did. It does kind of, doesn't it?
Turducken?
Turducken.
did you
It
guys?
does.
Did you guys just hear that?
No, it's your
Hardening of
freaking
the
out.
arteries.
Oh,
That's what I just
okay.
heard.
There you go.
That just
there you go.
happened.
That's pretty shunty of you.
That's funny.
I'm almost feling Bobby-ish. That's
I know
weird.
You've
that
picked
was
up some
so Bobby.
Bobbyism. I know. I'm proud
Damn
of you.
it.
Proud
Oh
of you.
yeah. So I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tell you about my Thanksgivings.
Please.
Okay, they're the same every fucking year.
No.
Okay. Yeah, every fucking year. So the in-laws live next door to us, correct?
Correct.
They have a 9:30 brunch, which kind of conflicts with my workout schedule because there's always a little like turkey jam that day,
Mm-hmm.
and I go to the turkey jam and I jam out, and then I come home and I shower, and so I get there late. Yeah.
Oh, I wish you could
do
see her
that
get her jam on.
Talking about turkey and Thanksgiving, I know this is your groove, so
It
I had to
is,
get it
man.
going for you.
It's perfect. Yeah. All right.
Oh
Now
yeah.
let's hear
It's
about
smoking.
Up in this motherfucker.
Yeah.
Let's hear about your
I love
routine.
it. So sorry. So I'm really getting into that. Sorry. So we go there, and it's all that side of the family. All the Kvasniks are there, all the aunts and uncles, all the extended cousins, and people from Uruguay. I don't know. Just everybody's there.
Nice.
Yeah, I
You're
know.
great.
Then they kind of hang out. Then I leave there at about 11, 12, 1. Go home, do a little cooking. And let me back up. The Leventhals go to the Kvasniks as well. All right, so all
Combination.
my family goes to their family brunch. Then we do this break, but a lot of people stay at the Kvasniks' house. And I go home and cook. Then we go to the Leventhals. All the Kvasniks go on over to the Leventhals, and then everybody's there, and all their friends are there. And then we have dinner there. So it's like nobody eats at Kvasniks.
Right.
none of our family because we're just waiting for the turkey because she does like lox and whatever. So actually, I kind of did this. I told this story with Christy too.
A little
but
bit.
yeah, I did. But so then we just eat all this shit, and we don't have dressing. I never, or we don't have sauce. What's that shit
Gravy?
called? Gravy.
You don't have gravy?
No.
Oh my God! I dip everything in gravy.
Yeah, I don't know why. Why do we not? I'll have to
It's
work
kind of
with
a
that.
major staple.
Yeah,
Well-
you gotta use the fat and the juices from the turkey and everything else to make the gravy. Obviously,
Listen to
but
Gentile
that-
Ben.
Oh my
let's
God.
break it down, right?
Oh.
No, it's because
My
I
dad
think,
makes the best gravy.
but our turkeys are organically trained and they run free, so there's no fat that burns off. So we can't. That's probably why we don't have gravy. And I have a weird sickness for like cornstarch. Makes me freak out.
Okay, that makes
And
sense.
you got to
Okay.
make it
sure.
with cornstarch.
You do.
So, and then it's kind of brown, which brown's not the most attractive thing to be always eating.
No.
Kind of freaks me out a little bit.
Right.
But we have a very good time. Now, it's going to might snow, or it might have snowed that day. I can't tell. I can't remember.
Maybe
That was a fucking week ago. I don't
potentially
remember.
you don't remember.
But some days it's some years it's beautiful.
Right. Yeah.
And then, but I like it when it's cold as fuck.
Really?
Yeah, because I eat more.
Oh, you eat more.
I like that. I like that.
I don't know. The
Bundle
food-
up by the fire, eat
I
a bunch
know.
of food
Yeah,
coma,
see?
football.
Oh, it's not good.
Right?
Yeah.
And
no.
so, didn't you have some relatives that stopped on their way to Canada from California?
no.
They went up to the Northwoods.
Right.
What did they? What? Tell me about your relatives.
Well, so
Did you have fun?
yeah, total fun. We got some. Do you remember Swanson's turkey dinners?
Yes.
That's what we're doing. I mean, that's what we
That's
did.
attractive.
That's what we did. You know, when
Did-
you have
Did
the
you
three.
do the peach pie?
Yes, the three
Those are
compartmentalized.
fabulous.
Those were the best.
Yeah.
Right?
The little tiny area. They give you enough pie for like you might.
It's
I know
like
this is awful, but like
Yeah.
as if you'd been in the Holocaust. Like it's hardly any.
Oh.
It's terrible. It's a smidgen.
Bum bum.
Yeah.
I can't even find the sound of
Yeah,
that one.
sorry.
Good.
Couldn't help myself.
That's okay. Yeah, no,
But
I
it's
know exactly what
pathetic.
you're talking about.
Yep.
So you get portions for like, yeah, it's like
a small child.
exactly. It's,
So do you guys actually do you take and make it all and put it into one big dish?
we do. We combine.
Combine.
We like, okay, you take your little green parts because they're the peas and the carrots.
I love
And they're
that.
squared carrots. They're like little
and there's
cubes.
and there's three of them.
There's three.
Because remember, you don't really like the peas, but
Right.
you used to. Grant, excuse me. Are you familiar with
Probably
with
not.
that with the Swanson's TV dinner?
TV dinners
Yeah,
going
well, I'm TV dinners, absolutely. Just a little, with the film over the top and a little
Oh.
plastic thing. It's got one compartment. It's like a mashed potato and gravy about
Oh,
the
yeah,
size
they
of a
still make
wallet.
'em.
Little vegetable tray and then the meat tray.
Yeah,
They
Oh
still
yeah,
make 'em.
Hungry Man. They have
Wow.
healthy choice.
Oh, the Hungry Man for
I'm a
fat people.
30-year-old single male.
Oh,
I don't do a lot of
that's-
cooking.
That's true.
So here's
I
what
suppose.
I got a question for you guys.
Yes.
So was somebody not doing their job because whenever you did open up the box and you pulled out the tin, why was there always like 2 peas and 1 carrot in the mashed potato section? Like there was
It was
some
like this.
inspection
They
that
shook
did
it
not
up.
happen.
Shook
You know,
it really
they taste
hard.
like rubber anyway, so you're going to dip it in
Yeah.
the mashed potato
But did
section
you- what-
anyways.
I did mix those two up. I
You
put the
have
peas
to.
and the carrots inside to make it all taste better.
My sisters
Right.
used
with the
yeah.
gravy. Sorry,
Yeah,
There's
agree with the
on
gravy.
potatoes. Oh
I
my
got
God.
tricked. They tricked me. They're like, "We'll trade you.
We'll
We'll
trade
trade you your mash." Well, basically, they
peach
conned the
cobbler.
shit. They conned the shit out of me. They made me think like the greens and the vegetables were the best part. They're like, "We'll give you double if you give us your potatoes." I'm like,
That's really
"Deal, right?" All right. So anyway, yeah,
Score!
major score. So yeah, we all grew up with that shit, right? Do
That's cool. That's cool.
you remember space food sticks?
I do.
Pillsbury made
They
them.
were nasty.
They were nasty. Tang and space
That's
food
gross
sticks.
because it was all like, oh my god, the little astronaut, little men are
Totally,
eating it,
so
so,
it just-
we should eat it.
It
and then
reminded me. Yeah.
we won't shit for a week, right?
Right?
Well, they
Totally.
hardly ate, right? They must have how did they shit up there? How do they?
They had
Did they have a catheter up their ass?
I recently watched the movie Martian with.
It was good. Saw it.
Did you see it?
Yep,
And did
it
you
was
notice how he
awesome.
used all the poop
Yep.
packets
Yep.
for fertilizer to grow
Matt
the
Damon. It was great.
Yeah.
Wait,
and
wait.
So,
No, seriously, how
Yeah.
do they poop?
so
Are
I'm
there
guessing there's some
toilets?
sort of toilet, but from the movie, which I don't know how accurate it is, but they collect every bit of feces from each person. It's labeled because you pick the person who's going at that time. They bag it. They have to bring it all back with them because they can't leave the waste. So
Can you imagine the smell of that?
God,
space
but yeah,
station?
they individually packaged every single one of
That's
them.
nasty.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
But that was a movie. I don't know how accurate it is, but I'm probably pretty close to how it works.
Yeah,
For sure.
Probably, but I don't understand because they're in a full outfit. Like, is it a
Full
little
outfit.
slit in the back, like they're going to the outhouse? Or-
I'd crap myself before I even got the thing.
Yeah, well, they're probably. I don't think they're going to the bathroom. And when they're in the shuttle themselves, they're not in their outfit all the time.
Oh,
No, that's when they get to take it off because
Yeah.
they're pressurized.
So
somehow.
when they're
do they do a striptease act when they're taking it off?
can you imagine stripping in zero
Yeah,
gravity? That
that'd
would
be
be
kinda
kind of fun.
bizarre.
So
Parts would be
Kinda fun.
flying everywhere.
When you see those movies and you see like just pencils floating and you see everything
Yeah.
floating, they never show fecal matter floating.
That's true.
Right?
Or a dick, like yeah, like you don't like it's not flying in the air a
Never.
little bit.
No.
And boobs like hitting people in their faces.
I was thinking
you know?
Never.
more boobs. But
Oh, see, of course, I was thinking dick.
yeah.
Well,
I don't really.
Thank God,
I don't have
thinking
dick on the brain, really.
Thank
but
God. Thank God.
Mine's just
so
in a
I
box.
was at the new Nordstrom's at Ridgedale.
New Nordstrom's? How is that?
It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
And we're hanging out there, and it was a fiasco. I was trying to get a free shirt because they gave us the wrong size. So I
They
was
really
just
did
not
a
free.
lot to that place.
Yeah, it was beautiful. But we're standing there. Of course, we're seeing a bajillion people we know, right?
Mm-hmm.
And somebody walks in with their fucking dog in there. Like
What?
Yeah. He's like, yeah, I called. We knew him. And we're like, dude, what's with the dog? I called and asked if I could bring my dog in. Like, did you clarify that you weren't like a
It wasn't a rescue
blind
dog.
person?
It
Yeah,
wasn't
it
a
wasn't.
rescue dog,
It
right?
was weird. It was
That is
really weird.
weird.
Then we went up to the restaurant. They have cocktails there. Did you know that?
I heard cock.
That's sweet ass. That
Cock-
was fun.
yeah.
Super good cocktails on top
What?
of it.
Nice. What
Yeah,
did you?
the food was like okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the salad was smaller than it was at the other place. but that's
Ridgedale
okay.
used to be like sort of the armpit of all the malls, right?
Yeah.
Brookdale, sorry, no offense, but they
Yeah.
closed Brookdale down.
Ye- They did.
I would
my
say
God.
Southdale got pretty bad. Ridgedale was better than Southdale
You
for a
know,
long. Still is. Southdale's getting better, but Southdale is
Southdale, yeah, they're having trouble filling
Are
that
they?
place. But I love that Macy's for some reason.
Macy's is
I
cool.
love it. It's awesome. So I think we really need to talk a little bit about like a really important person in my life, Ross Wayback.
For sure. You guys, Fun Bobby here to talk about another really cool show on Alive and Social Network. It's The Good Podcast with Ross Wayback, a really cool guy, very hip, has his own little bit on Fox 9, all things lifestyle, loves talking about food, super creative with food, super sexy guy, if I can say that. Guys, check him out. Fridays, 10:30 in the morning, The Good Podcast on Alive and Social. Thanks, everybody.
Hey, we got Dan Israel. He was our guest this week, which we pre-recorded, and Bobby and I had a fabulous time interviewing him. He is an amazing artist.
guy.
Yep, amazing artist in the music industry, writing, performing great songs for the last 15 years. Whether it's a full band or a solo act, he is unbelievable. His sounds are badass. Releasing his 13th album, Dan. His CD release party is Friday, December 4th. That would be tomorrow.
Check it out, everybody.
Yeah, at the 331 Club. But he likes tips, and he'd prefer for you to kind of make a purchase of a CD. Listen in.
Guys, Not So Kosher, we're really stoked right now. Dan Israel, songwriter, currently based in Minneapolis. His song Come to Me won Song of the Year in 2005 Minnesota Music Awards. 2006 named Songwriter of the Year. City Pages named you the Best Acoustics Performer 2005. Ladies and gentlemen, Dan Israel, thank you so much for taking time to come in today on this Hallows Day. Tell us real quick, first question, big plans for Halloween?
Huge plans, just huge.
What do you
Gonna
got
paint
going
the
on?
town. No,
Orange.
I'm gonna trick or treat with my kids for a half hour.
Are you
I
dr-
don't, you know,
you
they want to
dressing up?
trick or treat on their own too. They don't want dad the whole time. So
Well, it's such an honor for us to have you. You kind of class up our Not So Kosher today, but thank you so much again. We love that we have, it's kind of like a celebrity for me because I've listened to your music for a long time. I'm a St. Louis Park guy. Grew up in
it's
St.
like
Louis
a
Park.
celebrity.
Well, I feel like
Okay.
No, you're our local
Thank
celebrity.
you, thank you.
Dan,
Appreciate that.
two decades, 2+ decades in the industry. Give us some perspective on that.
I've lost all perspective. I just keep doing this. I don't know what propels me anymore, other than just it feels good to play music. It feels good to get out my everything, all my emotions in music, and then it also gives me like a purpose, to put out a new album. It's like it's like having a baby, except
Ooh,
except it's not like having a
doesn't
baby.
quite hurt as much, probably.
I don't even purport to know what that's like, but I have seen it up close, and yes.
I have a big question for
Yeah.
you. Well, I know the audience can't see you, but you are like so super hot.
Oh.
And, I just kind of like wonder, what do
That's-
you do? Like, how do you handle all the men and women and everybody else pawing at you? Is it rough? I mean,
I don't even know how to answer that because, first of all, it doesn't happen.
Second of all,
come on now.
that was my question.
because you really.
that was my next question.
But it's
Sorry,
really
sorry.
nice of you to suggest that I'm attractive.
Oh,
and,
hot. Absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I-
Whoever's got you is damn
it's-
lucky.
I'm on the Dan Israel diet, which is
Tell us, Bobby and I always want to know.
work a full-time job, have a music career, have 2 young kids, commute 2 hours a day, and run around like crazy your whole life.
Where are you commuting to?
I work in St. Paul and I live in St. Louis Park. I've
Ooh.
worked at the Capitol for almost 20 years, so that's my day job is at the state Capitol.
Well, I'm going to have to give you the shortcut way to do that.
Underground,
2 hours,
is
yeah,
it?
just
Or-
about. Well, we have a subway that no one knows about.
Well, I'd like to hear more about that. Yeah, 2 hours. That's a little exaggeration.
Yeah.
But I'm in traffic. I'm in my car a
sorry.
lot, so
That
it's okay.
sucks. It sucks.
It's alone time for
Yeah,
me too.
it's good. You probably think and do some good thinking.
I
and
do.
it's
I do good thinking.
Good.
Mm-hmm.
I know that your musical career started with you being a little pianist, and then
Careful there.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to be careful, and then I have to say slowly so I don't screw that up.
Small pianist or big pianist?
A big pianist, I
Okay.
think.
I was young, so
Well, you're Jewish, though.
yes.
Then you found the beauty and the sounds of the guitar. Are there other instruments that you play? I know that you do some harmonica, but
Yeah. I'm an amateur harmonica player. I've played some bass on my records, and I played one record. I even played drums. That wasn't necessarily the greatest drumming you've ever heard on a record, but I kind of liked it. It was fun. That was my self-titled album. Came out 10 years ago. Wow. Now, but
That's cool.
but no, I took piano lessons as a kid, and then I really wanted to play guitar, so I got somehow we found this sort of hippie woman who lived above, like over by the Park Theater.
was she fully dressed when she
She
was
was
teaching
always
you?
fully dressed.
Okay, that's a good
yes.
thing because sometimes I know that's
But
an
she
issue.
was perhaps slightly in the world of alternative living, but I don't really know. I was
Oh.
young, so I don't really know. But she taught me Space Oddity by David Bowie.
Cool. So
that-
you were
I remember that. I don't think I had a big crush on her, but
Okay. You'd probably
it was
remember.
still a little strange being 11 or 12 years old and going to this woman's apartment for private guitar lessons.
Ooh, that's
but-
it. Sounds
it
sexy
sounds
to me.
really sexy. It was kind of sexy.
So Dan, if
Mm-hmm.
you could be a musical instrument, what would you be, and who would you want to play you?
Well, I would be a guitar. I wouldn't stray from my favorite instrument. I would still want to be a guitar.
Who would you want to stroke
who would I
you
want
or-
to
no,
play me?
How do yeah? Okay.
Jimmy Page comes to mind.
Oh,
Jimmy Page.
excellent.
You
No,
guys
I
are the
would-
music
Excellent.
ones.
Zeppelin.
It just
Oh,
yeah.
oh, okay,
I would.
okay.
I think Keith Richards, Pete Townsend, Jimmy Page. Those the classic Dave Gilmour. I don't know.
That's
all
kind
those
of cool.
kind of
I
great.
love that. I love that.
I could say a Beatle too, but Beatles for me
Which
is
one?
more about songwriting than guitar playing. Even though George was phenomenal, so
Interesting. That's interesting.
Little-
Thank you.
little
Thank you
Jimmy
for
Page
telling us
there.
about that. Thanks for the background down there, G.
Very
Love
nice.
that. Can you share a
Mm-hmm.
story with us of what happens when the bar closes and the girls are hanging out in the back alley?
I don't remember that happening too much, but
Really?
But sometimes people have had a lot of alcohol at bars.
Shocking.
So I suppose there have been times in my life where that was sort of you could maybe describe the post-show scene as slightly debauchery.
Is that you,
But
Bobby?
these days, it's not nearly as wild and crazy as people perhaps imagine
You know,
it to be.
I got to say that, being that you weren't quite familiar with Bobby when you saw his face tonight. He was one of the ones in the back alley waiting.
Here's a good
I'm
segue
just
because
teasing.
at the end of the night, closing time, I just wanted to know if, like you and Dan Wilson, have ever collaborated, talked about a collaboration.
I've met Dan. Yeah. I like Dan. He's a great guy. Obviously, he's done sort of well for himself.
But St. Louis Park,
In St. Louis Park, we could talk all day just about what's the deal with St. Louis Park. Like,
Yeah.
why
so many talented people.
Why is St. Louis Park?
It's the water.
Some people have said the water. I think, let's
Everybody
be
knows
honest, there's
each
a lot
other.
of Jewish people from
gonna
St.
say,
Louis
all the
Park.
great Jewish
but
people.
Dan Wilson, the Wilsons are an exception to that. Not everybody notable from St. Louis Park is Jewish, but then again, maybe there's that influence, and I bet Dan would even acknowledge that growing up amidst that sort of environment with a lot of creative, like intellectual type, funny people, probably had a big influence on everybody, not just the Jewish people growing up in St. Louis Park. Somehow you get that environment that somehow sparks this, whatever it is. I can't explain it. It's amazing.
Did you ever get into Trip Shakespeare at all?
Oh yeah, I love Trip Shakespeare.
That was
Yeah,
amazing.
I went to school in Chicago, so we went to Northwestern, and we would go down to Cabaret Metro and see Trip Shakespeare. And
Awesome.
actually, I think a couple times we missed the opening act, which I later found out was the Jayhawks, which I should have been there to see the Jayhawks because I didn't know who they were back then. But
Again, Mark Perlman. St.
yeah,
Louis Park.
again. Yeah.
Oh, that's
and
right.
and Run
Wow.
Westy Run
Yes.
and Peter Himmelman and on.
The list goes on.
Yeah, so it's pretty amazing. And then Al Franken and the Coen Brothers, and
Yeah.
Tom Friedman. I mean, what the heck?
Exactly.
Don't
After-
forget Mark Rosen.
Don't forget Mark Rosen is right.
Stop.
Bob-
Don't forget Bobby Schnitzer.
Thank you.
Don't forget Bobby
I knew you were gonna say
Schnitzer.
that.
Don't. But
A lot of cool people.
Yes.
Definitely.
Done a lot of research. A couple things that stood out for me is you're a big baseball fan.
Yes.
Would that include your local team, or is this
Oh,
always been
the
a
Twins?
Yes.
I bleed Twins. I follow every game at least partially on radio, partially on TV, partly on my phone now, but I always know at any given time if the Twins are playing, I will probably be able to tell you what the score is. I'm more than a little obsessed.
That's all. We got one goddamn hit.
You can't say goddamn on the air.
Don't worry, nobody's listening anyway.
What a great season for them. Nobody would have expected
It was
that.
really a really fun season. It
And,
was
yeah, it's gonna
a
in the
nice
next couple
turnaround.
Years, next couple of years are going to be huge.
Yeah.
So it had to been a huge honor for you to be one of the showcased.
that was like one of the best nights of my life. I mean,
Tell
to
us
get
about
to-
that.
We basically just sort of entered a contest, I guess, through I can't remember what it was. Maybe it's through the radio station, but we got selected to play August 28th, 2013. I know the date at Target Field. Excuse me, my kids were there with me, and it was just such a thrill. I mean, they got their butts beat that game actually, so they didn't play that well. But what my son likes to remember. This is probably my favorite memory, other than just being there with my kids and having that opportunity to do that. But during warm-ups, Trevor Plouffe turned around and he was like dancing to our sound check, and then he turned around and gave me a huge thumbs up. So it was like, Plouffe likes me.
You've made it.
I've made it. I guess he has a band, or he plays guitar. I heard so
that's
he actually kind of knows a
great.
little about music. But
That's super cool.
so that was very cool, and yeah, it really truly was one of the highlights of my life to get to do that, and I hope maybe we'll get to do it again sometime. And I also got to throw out the first pitch. I won another contest.
Wow.
And so last year, it's on YouTube.
That's awesome.
We'll check
Dan
it out.
Israel throws out I threw a slow, hanging curveball for a strike.
Yes.
So
Love that.
wasn't exactly a heater, but
Were you athletic?
Got it over the plate.
Were you athletic growing up?
I think if anyone growing up with me listening to this would have to set the record straight. No.
So the position you
Oh.
played was left out.
Left out. That was
Oh,
yes.
that
Often was my. Well, I wasn't terrible. I wasn't
Wrong one.
terrible. I was an okay hitter in baseball.
Mhm.
My fielding skills were probably a little less impressive. But my son is a really good young baseball player. So maybe
Sometimes it just
he got it from the other side. Who knows?
Yeah, it just takes another generation to go
it
through.
might. Yeah.
So Dan,
Mm-hmm.
do you find that you do your best songwriting when you're in a sexual relationship with somebody,
Hmm.
or when you're not?
To be honest, I
So.
think that you tend to write more when you're alone.
Really?
Maybe.
Like,
Isolated.
Well, I mean, some writing comes out of pain, and some of that pain is loneliness, and so sometimes one writes more when one is living a monk-like existence. But
interesting.
that's not always true. I mean, I was married for 16 years, and I would call it a sexual relationship because it was, and I wrote a lot of songs, a lot of good ones during that time. So I don't think there's a hard and fast
Ooh.
answer.
Very good, Dan.
Sorry.
God, you're hot when
He
you say
said
that.
hard.
He did.
And
fast. So Jewish.
You
So-
yes.
oh, so
F-
how-
Am I sort of a Jewish cliche already with
Yeah,
the
I
music and the
love it.
baseball and
I love
I think
it.
I am. I think I'm a little bit of a Jewish cliche, but
You are.
I don't mind being a Jewish cliche. There's worse cliches to be.
That is so true.
Mm.
So how crazy is it being listed in the Wikipedia? I mean, like, has that been a dream of yours since childhood?
Well, if Wikipedia were around when I was a child, it would have been. If I could make it to the Encyclopedia Britannica,
See, I forgot about that already.
that's-
Isn't that awful?
Yeah, it's already pretty much gone.
Maybe we
That's
should have
crazy.
Jukepedia. And maybe
Jukepedia.
Maybe
I think there's
probably
actually some
is.
anti-Semites who do have Jukepedia.
Lovely.
So
Ouch.
Pass.
maybe we'll
Pass.
skip it.
If you had a dream venue,
Mm-hmm.
what would that be?
I want to play a stadium someday. Why not dream big, right?
Dude.
I mean, let's start with an arena. I'd like to headline, the hockey basketball arena type, XL or Target Center. Let's just go with that.
I'm sorry, don't we think the Twins Stadium is
Well,
like,
I mean,
that's
yeah,
on that
that
level,
would-
man.
I mean, and that's the thing, that I'm not at all nearly close to, big enough name to actually play a concert at Target Field, but to get to play at a Twins game like that, you could pretend that you were, and there were a lot of people there. So
I'm curious, like, how do they
Yeah.
sound check for that? With that sort of, I mean,
just before people kind of get there, you're sort of starting early.
that blow
so-
your mind though. That sort of
Yes, it
comparison
does
to
blow
a-
your mind.
Like you're at
Yeah, that it's echoing,
Yeah, how
rippling.
freaking
Yeah,
cool.
but I've had other shows that were more nerve wracking and more really more daunting than that. I mean, like I've had some shows where because that was with my band too. Like when I have to go out and play solo in front of like a theater crowd, that to me is more daunting. 'Cause I played at like the Guthrie and the Fitzgerald, and I opened for some people there, and Loudon Wainwright the third. I opened for
Right.
him at the Guthrie. I opened for Kevin Costner, the actor, at the Guthrie.
Wow.
We hung out.
That's cool.
Wow.
Yeah, we talked. Kev and I.
Cool.
Do you
man.
do you go through a ritual before your shows?
I call him Kev. Not to
That's
his
your vibe.
face.
You guys
of
have that
course.
vibe.
Yeah. Dances with wolves.
Take us through like before a show. Do you have what do you do before?
Few shots of vodka.
Awesome.
Wow.
No, I don't.
Not
Not
so awesome.
necessarily, but alcohol. You can see where people get kind of into alcohol as a performer because it does have a tendency
Calming.
to kind of loosen you up a little bit.
Liquid
But-
courage.
Yes,
Liquid
that's right.
courage.
That's right. So a big solo show, I might have a couple of drinks. Sure.
Beck and I were talking before we met with you. We were so curious to know sort of the difference between when you're playing solo or when you're with your band.
Yeah.
The different energy, the collaboration.
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
Well, I mean, a band, you have some cover. You're not like naked out there, you know. Playing solo, there's just absolutely no margin for error. So if you screw up, you just kind of have to own it and go on. I mean, with a band, yeah, you can screw up too, but a band, you tend to kind of, or at least I do, I tend to kind of, my energy focuses a little more like towards them on the stage too. So sometimes I think it's a different thing for the audience because I'm like not directly right there with the audience as much. I think it's maybe a little more.
I can see it would be easier.
Yeah, I think it's a little easier, but then at times I kind of like I'm a kind of a control freak, so having my guitar be the only thing I'm responsible for and my voice, that kind of feels good too.
But I suppose it's disturbing when like everybody's looking not just at your package, but
Yeah.
like at everybody else.
That's right. I only want
Yeah.
them looking at mine.
Yeah, so that I
actually.
can get where you do the naked stuff a lot. You know?
Yeah, I
Ladies
don't
and
actually
gentlemen, Becca.
perform naked.
Oh,
but,
that's right.
I've never tried that. Though I think the guitar would probably.
It could cover it good.
Probably
That's like the
be-
dude in Central Park, or no, in whatchamacallit, Times Square.
Oh,
the
yeah.
naked cowboy, not really,
Yes,
you know.
yes.
Kind of covers it up.
Yeah, kind of.
Can you so
Gotta be
you
careful,
know,
though.
Yeah, that's
Right.
true. So one thing that I found kind of interesting was the whole vinyl, like vinyls, like are coming back.
Yeah, I did a vinyl.
How weird is
thing.
that? Or
Yeah,
is that-
it's cool. I mean,
Is it?
I did this Kickstarter thing a couple of years ago, and then that raised a bunch of money. You know, Kickstarter is like crowdfunding thing.
Yep.
So people were very generous, and I was able to put out I wasn't even intending to put out vinyl, but I ended up putting out a best of vinyl, 2 albums called Danthology. So if people want to look for Dan Israel, Danthology, if they want to hear me on vinyl, 2 albums.
Oh, that's so cool.
All
See,
my biggest hits, all the ones that went straight to the top of Billboard.
Cool. You had a couple of, you've had a few bands, like, so you had One Town Horse and you had Pottersfield. I'm kind of curious, me personally, I didn't know if Bobby was that curious, but I just like wondered where the names came from. Like I could get the collaborators.
Yeah,
but
one Town Horse,
Cultivators,
that
whoa,
was
what
just,
was that?
you know, well,
wow, sorry.
One Town Horse, that was my band in Chicago when I was in college. That was just, you know, flipping one horse town around and being goofy. Potter's Field, it had a lot of, you know, Potter's Field is actually like a graveyard for poor people or dispossessed or what. Yeah, that's the technical definition of what a Potter's Field is. So I've seen that phrase quite a bit ever since in hindsight, I wish we would have given ourselves a little more obscure name than that, because I've seen the phrase come up quite a bit. Right. And we were just trying to be dark and brooding, I guess. But Cultivators, yeah,
That's an easy one.
that was my band name for a long time. That was supposed to be positivity mixed with winking, reference to, you know, herbal substances. So
You guys are listening to us on live and social network. We are Not So Kosher. We have a really cool guy, Dan Israel, who is going to be playing a song coming up in a little bit. He also brought in some music. We're going to listen to that. Thank you again so much for coming into our program.
Yeah, thanks
Tell
for
us,
having me.
Your kids, do they know
what I do?
Yeah, I mean, like, are they influenced by that, or do they know what a big deal it is?
Yeah, my son, especially. Well, my son is 10 and my daughter's 7. My son, they're both very bright, and he's especially pretty aware of what I say, well, you know, your daddy, sometimes I'll kind of explain, you know, I didn't get such and such gig, you know, went to somebody else. And, you know, I said, I'm not that famous. He'll be like, no, Daddy, you are. You are so famous. So it's really cute.
Do they play?
But yeah, he's been taking trumpet lessons and getting good, and my daughter's taking piano lessons and getting really good.
Perfect.
So they've got
There's
the
your
music
band.
in them.
There's
Yeah,
your
they
next
love
band.
music, and I think we were going to try to get a karaoke machine this winter to get us through the winter, because they love singing to popular songs. So, but they like I've gotten them into, you know, classic rock. I've gotten them off of just the pop music and into the Who and stuff. So
wow,
I'm very proud of that.
That's interesting,
Yeah.
isn't it? Do you have like a favorite go-to song for your, you know, when you do karaoke? Are you a karaoke player? A
I
singer?
don't have a go-to karaoke song. I mean, I cover so many songs, but it would be the Stones, I'm sure, if I had to just pick something.
I would imagine you
Beast
could
of
go,
Burden,
you could
you
do
know.
any Tom Petty too.
I love my Petty.
I knew you.
I'm
loved
a
your
Petty freak. You
I
can
was going to
tell.
ask who's your rock hero?
I think Tom Petty. You know, I've often said if you distill down everything that I love about Beatles, Dylan, Stones, everything, then if it all were crystallized into one artist, the best representative would be Tom Petty.
Very cool.
Of everything I like musically, the Byrds, REM, all that jangly kind of. I love that jangly rock. So
if you could do any duet with any person in the industry, who would be your partner? Who would you like to collaborate with?
if I could just pick anybody, do they have to be alive?
Alive or dead?
Oh, because then I would probably want to consider John Lennon.
Very cool.
You know?
Interesting.
Very cool.
If I could,
Imagine that.
Yeah,
imagine that.
Yeah, very good.
Had to do
Very
that.
good.
But as far as somebody alive, either McCartney or Dylan or Keith Richards.
So
sort of-
when I listen to you, I hear so much of Himmelman and Dylan.
Yep.
And I think that you should think about the three of you doing an
Me
album.
and Peter and Bob.
Yeah, you'd be the
I
three
will-
twins, and then you could add a splash of Westerberg in there.
I would love that. Would be the ultimate supergroup for me.
There you go.
Peter and Bob. Oh, and then Westerberg. Yeah. Well,
Look
that
at
would
that.
that would be a supergroup. I mean, without me, it would be plenty super. But
No, I think we should
I
work
would
on
love to
that.
be involved. So
Yeah, I think there
I-
should be an album put together for that, a vinyl.
I think it would go crazy gangbusters. So let's.
It would.
You
Well, I'll
tell.
work on that.
You talk to your people.
Okay.
I can only talk to Peter because I don't really know the other guys.
Have
But,
you ever met Dylan?
Yes, sort of. I have a weird story about that. Do we have? I can
Yes,
make
we
it
Yeah,
quick.
go for it,
absolutely
man.
have time for a weird story.
When I moved to Austin, Texas in '92 after college, I moved down there to start Pottersfield, that band. And I started working at this temporary job, and this woman from the job one night, she said, "Come down to this building by the University of Texas campus. Come down there, and I can't even tell you anything else. Just come down there." I didn't even know what I was coming down there for. And there's this huge line down the block, and it turned out it was the Austin City Limits Studios, and it was Willie Nelson's 60th birthday party being recorded for CBS television. And she pulled me out of the back of the line. I jumped a block's worth of line to get in, and I got in, and that Bob was there and Paul Simon was there, and it was crazy.
That's
and so
amazing.
I, like an idiot, I handed Bob like my demo tape at one point in the evening.
Wow.
And then like I guess it was like his bodyguard just took it out of Bob's hand and gave
Threw
it
the
back to
garbage.
me.
Oh, my
no. Oh, no.
But it did make a round trip to
There you
Bob
go. He
for a
touched
second.
it.
And then I stood next to him as he was interviewed. And that interview I've gone back and watched because it was part of the telecast.
Ooh,
Wow.
So I'm almost in the Bob Dylan interview.
I love that.
And I met Willie that night.
That's cool.
Yeah.
We
Very
need
cool.
to get you to meet. We need to get you to Dylan. That would be nice.
I
Wouldn't
would
it be
like to.
fun?
I would like to meet Bob, but I mean, I think that anytime you meet your heroes, you're gonna be like. It's almost like cooler that I haven't,
Right.
in
I
a
get
way,
that.
That's true.
directly
Right.
met him. But it's possible, it's possible that maybe he's seen like one of my covers I've done of one of his songs
Yeah.
because they're on YouTube. You never know.
It's true. And,
Like
and
Neighborhood Bully, that song off Infidels, it's had like 14,000 views on YouTube. So maybe one of them was
Wow.
Bob.
awesome.
We're going to have you do a song here in a little bit, but to finish this out, let's hear about your latest album that just came out.
Yeah, it's. I'm excited. It's called Dan. I really worked hard on the
Can
title.
you spell that for us, please?
The thing is, that's the beauty of it. I don't have to for your average.
Yeah.
It's
True.
And the cover, people can't see it here, but there's a reason the cover is. It's hard to explain. You'd have to Google.
What?
You'd have to Google Joyce Drake. Joyce Drake was a Christian artist in the 70s, and her album cover looks like my album cover, but it's called Joyce. So if people Google Joyce Drake, they'll see where we got the.
So that was totally
idea.
one of my
It was a
questions.
parody.
Because I didn't get that. And
Yeah,
then on the
nobody-
video, I'm
a lot
like,
of
you're
people aren't
holding
getting
the
it. I know.
Daisy the whole time.
But it made this list of worst album covers that was circulated.
honey. I think it's super.
So-
Like I thought it was just being dorky. I thought there
It
was
is
some
dorky.
dorkiness to it because
It
it
is dorky.
totally gives you that.
You
It's
guys
got
will-
a dorky vibe.
You'll be able to go to our Facebook page, and we'll have that up, and you can check it out. You sort of look like it's like,
Sad.
Well, I don't want to say.
Yeah,
don't
I
wanna
Look
say
thought
that.
so.
hapless and pathetic.
I was
I
more.
thought so.
I was more looking at your chest, but that's
Yeah.
Oh.
it's a nice shot of
It
you.
looked
Thank
like a
you.
pimp. You kind of look.
I look pimped
like
out.
Pimp. Yeah, totally. Yep.
But yeah, and that's a fake Kmart sticker. Let's
I
let's
love
hope they don't.
on the back of Kmart. Our
That's
price
cool.
is $3.57.
May,
I love that.
may we get sued for it. It'd be the best publicity we ever
Exactly.
There you go.
This has really been an honor for us to have you
Oh,
in the
thanks.
studio.
Thank you.
We'd love for you to play a song.
Thanks. I hope I haven't, bored people to tears, and I will
No.
be glad to play a song.
Fabulous.
All right, coming up, we're going to have Dan Israel playing for us one of his songs. It's "You Don't Love Me Anymore," and we'll come back shortly.
Come out, you're used to me. I have to be trying not to see. There's nothing here worth salvaging. might as well go pawn that ring. I'm not clueless. We can't get through this. Tears I had to stop keeping score. If you don't love me, if you don't love me, if you don't love me anymore. Used to laugh at inside jokes. Never feared I'd have my smoke. Grew up fast with two cute kids. Life felt hard, but life felt lived. I tried to own this. Now I'm homeless. Sometimes broken down to the core. If you don't love me, then you don't love me, then you don't love me anymore. I followed that rainbow to the ground. Pot of gold I never found. Still with the passing time. Nothing's gone to change your mind. We had so much left to share. But I won't try if you don't care. And I'm moving on now. That life is gone now. Nothing will be like it was before. You don't love me, and you don't love me, and you don't love me anymore. Anymore, anymore, anymore.
Fantastic. Or I should say Dan-tastic. Dan Israel,
you.
everybody. That was, and I just want to say
Thank you,
this
Dan.
really quick. A quick shout out to my
Fabulous,
friend
Dan.
Jeff Kleinbaum, who was instrumental, no pun intended, to help this happen, to get off the ground. And one of my big dreams for the show was to feature local music. So, Dan, you're our first actual in studio.
I'm honored.
Absolutely appreciate
Extremely
it.
honored.
If you are okay, if you have a few more minutes,
Sure.
we would like to play a little game. We're always
Sure.
doing little segments on the show. We have a thing called Kosher or Not So Kosher.
Okay.
And we would love for you to play this version with us.
Okay.
It's pretty simple. You are
You
now.
actually have to know if these things are. Oh, it's actual.
So we're going to
Okay.
decide.
Sometimes.
We're going to decide. I'll throw something out there.
Okay.
And we'll ask you if you think that's kosher or not so kosher.
Okay. All right.
So this is my favorite little thing.
Okay.
What's in this little? Don't you feel like dancing? I feel like I'm at a bar mitzvah or a wedding. Are you
Too bad
guys?
we don't have mitzvah
I know,
magic
exactly.
tonight.
That mitzvah magic.
Usually I get you a little schnockered before you play.
Are you going to put that recipe up on?
You should, yes.
All right, you guys. First item up on kosher or not so kosher: candy corn mixed in with Planters peanuts. Dan, we'll let you go first if you
Dan.
think that's kosher or
Look
not
at
so
that
kosher.
face.
It's just not. It's not so kosher.
Oh.
And why is that?
Not technically, but it's gross.
It's
I don't
just
get
gross,
it.
everybody.
I don't get it.
Beck?
I think it's kosher.
Really?
Yeah, because it's the salt and the sugar together that kind of gets me
Mm.
hot. I love that shit together.
Grant knows
You
all
saying-
things salty
Yeah, right?
and sweet.
I know.
You saying that got me hot. I'm
I know.
kosher. Kosher for sure.
All right, next up on for kosher, not so kosher, Bloody Marys. Bloody Marys.
I think they're kosher.
Love the bloody.
No.
No? Not
It'd
so
ha-
kosher for you?
It would have to be, well, because you got the Mary on there. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's
you have
true.
to go like
And a big
kosher
sausage stick,
Rivka.
too.
I mean,
kosher bloody Rivka. Oh,
My
gross.
God
Check
almighty.
it out. Bloody Rivka.
even blood. I mean, when you think about it, Bloody Mary. What's
It's
with
kind
the
of
name?
nasty. Where do you
Yeah,
think
it's
that
really
came
weird.
from?
Yeah.
All right. That's fair
really
enough.
weird.
Not so
Wait,
kosher
Grant.
for me. I'm going to say screwdrivers. If I'm having vodka in the morning, it's a screwdriver, which is not very often, but that's
Very cool.
Screwdriver.
Ooh.
Here's one for you. You're at the office, and you come across this Swiss Miss Cocoa packets.
With marshmallows
Yes.
or not?
Kosher or not so kosher?
Yeah, kosher.
Why not, right? Yum.
With vodka.
Well, Bailey's.
Bailey's I
Some
did
Baileys.
last time. That was badass.
Grant, what do you think?
Sounds
Kosher
pretty
with
good.
little baby marshmallows, marshmallows.
God,
Okay,
we're on a
wow.
roll today.
Where are you at?
Well,
It's okay. Here's one. High-fiving your boss. Is that
Ew.
kosher or not so kosher?
not so kosher. That's no.
I'm with
Right?
Dan on
Never.
that one.
You don't hide. No.
No.
You bump?
Awkward.
We hear it alive
That-
and social. We high five. We're
Oh, do
cool.
you? Okay.
We've got some cool bosses around
All
here.
right.
If you have a cool boss, but who has a
A
okay?
suit
You have
dude's
a cool
probably
boss.
not gonna.
Yeah, thank you.
That's a good one. All right, how about this one? Halloween parties. Halloween parties.
I don't go to them. I don't really go to parties, so not so kosher for me.
Well, what's comical is I right away think of children.
Mm-hmm.
I have adult children at this point, but we would have Halloween parties so that you wouldn't have your kids out there getting
Yeah.
hurt or
Yeah.
taken.
Sure.
Or so I'd say kosher. Mm-hmm. I'd go with kosher.
I like to stay at home. I'm a hermit.
Oy.
No, not so kosher.
One of my favorite things a couple of years ago when Franken was running for Senate, we took all of his signs, and for Halloween, I was a Franken sign. And it was pretty clever. Not a lot of people got it,
I like it.
but I thought it was absolutely clever. Franken sign, everybody.
Got it.
Is this thing on?
That was
Check.
good. That was good.
Okay, how about this
I like
one?
it.
Chicken liver with bacon wrapped around it.
Whoa.
And I just came up with a brilliant invention, and I'm like loving it. How about an egg McMatzah? Egg McMatzah, kosher or not so kosher?
So okay, we'll get.
Yeah.
I don't like chicken livers,
But
and
you
I
know,
don't-
back in the day at the Nankin, that was one of the
Yeah.
most popular. It was called Ramaki.
It was
Oh, okay.
Gannon's was chicken.
I love Ramaki, but it is not so kosher. But what about the egg
egg
McMatzah?
McMatzah. So matzah, egg,
The
cheese,
ham
Yes.
on there?
but you
No.
wouldn't have any
No ham.
pork.
That's
Yeah.
screwing it all up, kind of, though. You got the cheese.
All right, add the ham.
I like matzah for anything. I think I might eat that. So I'll give you a kosher.
Love
on.
it.
I'd go with kosher.
Here's an easy one. Famous Dave's Barbecue. Grant?
Oh, for Famous Dave's?
Yep.
Oh, yeah, kosher for sure.
Gentile Ben, everybody.
Gee, man,
Yes.
that would be not kosher.
Well, for me,
Well, right.
Gentile Ben,
I
it's kosher
suppose,
for
yeah,
me.
Okay, okay.
Technically, but I've seen a lot of Jews coming in and out of famous days.
Okay, we do.
Probably.
Shabbat dinner.
Exactly.
Oh,
Shabbat
Just
shalom.
like Rudolph's, you used to see all the Jews at Rudolph's or at the Chinese
They were beef,
restaurant
though, so
eating
we could get
spare
away
rib.
with it, right?
Right.
Yeah, they were beef.
Okay, you could say market barbecue, though. Those are pork, most of them. right?
Yeah.
How about this one? Monster energy drinks. Monster energy drinks. You see them. Oh, well, go figure. The only one in the studio sporting one is Grant, everybody.
Yes.
So
Kosher.
kosher for Grant.
I think that's fair.
Have you ever
You.
had one? Have you?
Yeah.
I'm kind of afraid. I'm kind of scared. It's
No,
going-
I mean, there have been some Sundays where I've had my kids and I had a gig the night before, and that's when I may resort to like a, Red Bull or a Monster,
Ooh.
where it just like I physically cannot get the energy that
I'm
I
with
need.
you.
Boy,
So that's leading a double
better
life.
than speed, I suppose.
Well, I don't.
It's the Millennium Speed, is what it is.
Okay,
Pretty
how about,
much.
how about bowling shirts? Just bowling shirts. Kosher or not so kosher?
I don't think bowling shirts would be kosher, but bowling's definitely kosher.
You think bowling is
Interesting.
kosher?
Oh, yeah.
Interesting. Well, because of all
Bowling.
those.
I know 4 Jews who bowl.
Jeff Klein.
Yeah,
one.
John Kavaznik.
Marnie
There's a ton.
Safi.
Mike
I
Kavaznik.
think
There's
of a
the
certain
Jewish team.
generation, there are there are Jewish bowlers.
The
yeah.
B'nai B'rith group.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that's it then, right?
But the bowling shirt, that might be a little
Over the
This
top.
almost seems like a Lenny Bruce-like thing where it's goyish or not goyish. You know?
Right, exactly. Lenny Bruce, that's a
He
great,
used to classify. He had a list
Like
where he
that.
classified stuff as. So
Ooh.
brilliant comic.
Interesting.
Broke the mold for everybody back then. Okay, here's a trifecta, kosher or not so kosher. We're going to start with cream of mushroom soup.
Whoa.
no,
You're saying no.
it's too upper Midwestern for casseroles
Nasty.
and things that have ham in them.
Which would be number 2, cream of mushroom soup with green beans. Grant?
Yeah, I mean, I
Look.
Hell yes.
I did grow up eating some of that, so I don't want to. I don't want to sound like
Tater tot
Mr.
hot dish with that cream of mushroom soup.
Whoa.
Green beans.
Whoa.
Yes.
Don't-
Oh, what about you get the little onions? You know the
Lipton
the,
onion
the
or
crunchy ones
crunchy
from
onions.
the can.
you put on
Lowry?
top of
Yes.
the green beans.
Oh
Yes.
my God.
That's the best part,
Yeah,
right?
That I do have
Comfort-
a soft
Minnesota
spot
comfort
for.
food.
Yeah.
All right, cream of mushroom soup over baked chicken.
That I just don't care for.
That's my favorite thing my mom makes.
Really.
Mom
makes it too.
Oh my!
gosh,
I
you
knew I
guys.
loved you.
Oh my God.
I guess it's almost like chicken marsala or something. You got the mushrooms.
True.
You know.
Good
so.
stuff, by the way. If you're ever at Buka, and
Yeah,
hopefully
love.
they'll-
That's my favorite one.
Chicken marsala from
I love
Buka.
chicken
Yeah.
marsala.
Well, that's all I have, you guys. That was a
Well,
great
you
job.
know, Dan, thank you
This has
so
been a
much
blast.
for being here. I can't even
for
tell
having
you
me.
how happy we are about it. We can't wait for your release of Dan.
Yeah.
Your
it's gonna
13th
be,
album.
This
Big-
one's going to be huge.
It's gonna
This
be
is
huge.
the one.
The big CD release
Yeah,
party,
this is
December
the
4th,
one.
331 Club
Yep.
in Northeast.
Yep.
It's going to be amazing. There's no
People-
cover charge.
No
it's
cover.
so
They
Jewish.
just come and give us your money anyway.
But I heard you're gonna have like a 5-gallon, one of those 5-gallon like
jar.
glass jars.
That's right.
As a tip jar.
That's right. We're gonna try to
and you
fill
only
that up.
take bills because the coins are too heavy.
Whatever people, any
Yep.
kind of currency, checks,
Okay.
checks are
Ooh,
accepted.
see, paper C.
Yep.
Yeah.
And danisraelmusic.com is my
Awesome.
website. I meant to mention that as well.
Perfect.
If you go on YouTube and like search for Dan Israel, you'll find a lot of videos and
And we'll
you
have
can
it.
entertain yourself for hours.
We'll
or
put it up
minutes
on,
at least.
notsokosher.net. I'll put up all your
Cool.
information too. So
Cool.
Great, everybody. We're going to play you out right now with track number 2, "Be With Me." Thank you so much, Dan Israel.
you so
guys,
much.
thank you,
Thanks
and
for
we
having
will
me.
be back. Thank you.
Don't wanna be with me. You don't gotta be with me. I'm going to bed early to escape into sleeping. If you don't wanna stay with me, I guess I can take my leave. I thought what we had tears. I'll leave you alone, but alone is what you'll be. You can avert your eyes, but someday you'll realize all the good things you lost when you lost me. All the good things you lost when you lost me. It didn't have to be. If you don't wanna be with me, you don't gotta be with me. If you don't wanna be with me, you don't gotta be with me. If you don't wanna be with me, you don't gotta be with me. Don't wanna be with me, don't gotta be
You were listening to Be With Me by Dan on his new album. Dan, again, spelled D-A-N. It was amazing. I love that. I love that song. I love his music. We were so lucky to have him here at the Southside Studios. Don't forget to check out Dan's CD release party again Friday, December 4th. That's tomorrow at the 331 Club. 10 p.m., 21 plus, no cover, tips for sure. And make sure you purchase one of his CDs to make him super happy. I want to tell you a little bit about a really fabulous podcast we have here, the Great Northern Sex Cast. Longtime radio personality and producer Kelly Guest and her pal CEO of Fantasy Gifts, Colleen Bertino, present the Great Northern Sex Cast. This show talks about all things sex. Grab your headphones, and learn everything you always wanted to know about sex and more, and intimacy. But we're afraid to ask. To hear the latest episode or catch up on what you've missed, visit aliveandsocial.com.
That chick gives good mic, by the way.
For sure. Bobby, I again, your favorite part is the juicy news, and here I am, your little maven, to tell you all about it. One story I do have to tell about that I might have told before, but I think it's really important to keep talking about it, is my very good friend Yitzi Kasowitz and his wife Chani Kasowitz are fabulous people in the Orthodox community that I've known since, I've known Yitzi since he was a little kid. And he is a Lego master builder. He has wanted to be one since he was a child. He is the designer and the owner of J-Brick. And they put out he's created these like little menorahs and dreidels and shit that you can purchase. And now he's been fortunate to have them at Bibelo, Cooper's, and he's trying to get into Target. So whoever hears me should really help get him into Target. And you can check him out at jbrick.com. You can purchase his items there. It's very cool. I actually have an outfit. I actually have an outfit.
You actually have an outfit.
I actually have an outfit. I was watching you sniff the markers, so I was trying to freak out. Oh.
I made it out of clay, and when it's dry and ready, oh, dreidel,
we
I
have
shall play.
Minnesota
Oh,
Jewish
dreidel,
Theater
dreidel,
Company presents
dreidel.
The Hanukkah Gas by Jenna
clay,
Zark, a personal
and
friend of
when it's
mine,
dry and
December
ready,
6th to 22nd.
dreidel, I
Check
shall
that out.
play.
I have that on the website. Join the St. Paul and Save Us JCC for a special Hanukkah celebration. Light up the night, Saturday, December 12th, 6 to 8. Make sure you check out the St. Paul JCC and Save Us JCC's websites. It'll be held at 1375 St. Paul Avenue in St. Paul, Minnesota. Twin Cities Jewish Book Fair continues. We have a Lakabash. Aren't you excited about that?
I want to go. Tell us about it.
Well, we also have Hanukkah celebration at the Temple of Aaron, December 13th, 9 to 11. Be there or be square. Hanukkah starts in just a few days. Make sure you break out your little Hanukkah, get it shined up, get that silver all super shiny. Make sure you have all your candles, or make sure that if you have an electrical one, that you have all your little bulbs set and ready to go. This is Becca, and I want to thank you all for listening to me and Bobby do our shit. Next week, we're going to have Mary Leonard, an artistic chocolatier, huge word, owner of Celeste Chocolate. She has a beautiful collection of Hanukkah and winter chocolates that you should go get. Make sure you check us out on notsokosher.net, Facebook, Not So Kosher, Twitter, Not So Kosher, Instagram, Not So Kosher, or Not Kosher TC, or Not So Kosher TC, whatever the hell you want. Bobby, thanks for being here. Grant, thanks for all your hard work getting us some really cute little fucking Hanukkah tunes, because I really like that. Be well, my Juniverse. My big daddy.